to open up the floor for whatever you all may want to discuss, man. Back in the saddle. Got a charger for my phone so we don't have to worry about the stream cutting off. And got my USB hookups for my camera for YouTube, man. We're in business. It's good to see all of you. I can't thank you enough for helping us get to where we are. Let's see. G Angel Power. Giangelo Power says, bro, wisdom has helped me so much. I appreciate that, man. Bless you. I really appreciate that, man. Be sure that you're following me on YouTube as well, because I'm streaming there tonight too. I'm doing a dual stream, if you will. A lot of stuff that happens on YouTube that's never going to happen on TikTok. Mostly because TikTok will only give me 1 minute to say what I have to say. So I have to condense sometimes an idea that I spent 3 hours talking about on a podcast into a 1 minute soundbite, which is fine. It's definitely valuable because as the world, as media companies work harder and harder to get humans more and more addicted and dependent upon entertainment media, it's going to get harder and harder to get and keep attention. Um, but I think we will hit a tipping point, and I think we may already be there. And the fact that I'm sitting at 100,000 followers, I think, is evidence of that tipping point, meaning people have had enough of stupid, silly videos. Not that those don't have a place and that they're not good, just that uh, to have a life and to truly enjoy yourself, you got to have a mix, right? You got to be balanced. Um, so I like the idea of only being able to share what I want to share in a minute or less because it helps me get really sharp and succinct with the things that I want to say. Unfortunately, at times it does lead to misunderstanding. Um, Humor sometimes can come off the wrong way. Like I lost one specific follower today during my first live stream on TikTok because they took my title of the live stream seriously. I was just joking. But that type of humor can be lost on people when you don't have enough time to build in the context of the joke, really, or really to set the joke up. So there's that. But I do like the challenge of having to condense. Sometimes I'm talking about, for example, today on TikTok, I just shot a video from this book. I'm not going to show you what the book is. You're going to have to watch the video. But specifically, sorry, YouTube. I didn't have my mic to my face. But specifically, it's why do people who are happy in their relationship still cheat on each other, right? Or why does one person in a happy relationship still cheat? What is it? Are the things that we think or have been taught to think, or really we haven't been taught anything. We just watch a lot of movies and we think that's real life. The things we've been conditioned, let's say, to believe about cheating, maybe those things aren't exactly correct. Maybe there's more going on than just an unhealthy relationship, and that's why a man, cheated on his wife or his girlfriend, or a woman cheated because she was emotionally not being fulfilled. All these stereotypical, not that those things don't happen, of course they do, but there's more to the story. So I have to take, how many pages are in this book? Like, I have to make one, roughly a 300-page book that Esther wrote here and try to condense that idea down distill it into a 1 minute, in your face, get people to think potentially differently than they've been conditioned to think. And that's challenging, but I like the challenge. TikTok, for whatever reason, is the first social media platform where I've really enjoyed the process of making the content. Although that's not true. YouTube was the first platform I enjoyed producing for. Never enjoyed Twitter. I never really enjoyed Facebook, but Facebook was kind of a means to an end. Uh, Certainly never enjoyed Instagram. Still don't really enjoy. I enjoy the fact that now I have a following on Instagram because of TikTok, and because of friends that I've made on TikTok that have been helping me get reach more people on Instagram. Um, but TikTok is the first platform where I'm thinking about how can I make this video differently in a way that people will relate to it, and find it encouraging and uplifting, or maybe it's not encouraging, maybe it's a kick in the ass that some people need, that we all need, right? How do I say that in 15 seconds? And the challenge I've been taking on now is how do I say some of these things in 15 seconds? And it's really good. And in the long run, I can already see how it will affect me as a public speaker. Because in public speaking, especially if you're speaking to time, you've got to hit your points and not linger and then get off the stage, right? So it's a blessing, man. I'm very grateful for all of you that have been a part of what we're doing here. And thanks to everybody on YouTube that's watching here live as well. Bobby Dodge, good to see you. Adam Bell, what's up, man? Says that's a hell of a library, man. I'm jealous. Yeah, no, it's dope. I appreciate that. And in fact, this is maybe, I want to say this is maybe half of the books in my house because I moved into a smaller room to make. I basically turned one of my kids' rooms into my office and gave up my office to a couple of my kids because I wanted them to have more room. That room is much bigger, has a fireplace. It's a nicer place to live, right? So I gave that to my kids and I took over one of their rooms. Um, so it's much smaller. I actually my bookshelves when I was in my old office would stretched two walls like this, and then probably wrapped around another wall. So this is about half of the books I own, and not to mention my wife's collection of books, right? So this is part of our library, and that's one of the main. It's funny you bring that up because one of the main things I want to have in our forever home that we're kind of thinking through building right now. Right now, we're trying to figure out where are we going to live for the long haul. We're going to stay uh, in Virginia, and if we do, we're almost certainly long term leaving the DC area, or do we move back to Georgia, which is where my wife is from? And I've spent a lot of years living in Georgia, both as a child of a soldier and both as the child of a soldier and as a soldier myself. I actually was living in Georgia when I got married to my wife. She was living in Florida at the time, but she's from Georgia. So we've considered moving back to Georgia. Is there anything in North Carolina for us? Because there's places in North Carolina that we really love. Or do we want to stay in Virginia because that's where a lot of my family is, right? But her family is mostly in Georgia, so it's this kind of back and forth. And where do we move? Where does she decide to go to law school? Because that's where we're going to live, at least in the short term. We're definitely going to spend some time close to where she decides to go to law school. Unfortunately, she didn't get accepted to the main school she wanted to go to. Uh, so that was somewhat disappointing. But, I always look at those things as opportunities, not necessarily disappointments or things to be sad about. People ask me all the time, Yo, B, what do I do? My girlfriend just broke up with me. Call her and thank her. And that sounds insane, but if she left you, good. Because it means a couple of things. Either she's not right for you, she's got problems, or you've got problems, or some alchemy of all of those things. The breaking up that's hurting you right now is eventually going to, hopefully, if you're smart and honest, it'll help you grow into a person that deserves somebody better than the one that just left you, right? Or if you're just a complete saint and a lovable, wonderful person that doesn't need to grow, like you're Jesus Christ and we just don't know it, and you were dating somebody horrible, great. You just learned a great lesson on how to pick mates better. Like you just got to be able to see the good in all the things that go down. Right, so yeah, man. But I'm saying all that to say, in our forever home, uh, the I want basically I want four rooms in that house for myself, and it's the only material possessions I really care about. Like I don't care about cars. I just don't care a lot about the typical material things that a lot of people tend to want. Like I want to get a Ferrari when I get rich. Like that's fine, I'm good. I can't fit in a Ferrari anyway, so you know, once I become a billionaire, I'm probably not going to buy a Ferrari. You guys will still see me driving around in a Ford F-150. There's the blue collar billionaire. There he goes. But I want to have a two-story library, like some Sherlock Holmes type stuff. I want to have a room for my game collection, a theater room to play the games and stuff like that, but also a room where I display my collection, because that's one of my only hobbies is collecting games. And I want to have a gym, right? Which the gym we're planning for our forever home wouldn't be in the house anyway, so it's all good. I need this thing to start behaving properly so I can make sure my phone is charging. Hopefully. I don't know. Can I just say Apple products suck? I don't really understand the obsession with them. You know, you get chargers for them, the chargers stop working. This charger is not supported. It's a charger. I've had enough of Apple and their stupidity. Let's see. Giangelo Power says, subscribe. Thank you. Any great books on manhood or wisdom? Yeah, a bunch of great ones. Uh, definitely pick up The Daily Stoic. Right? Definitely want to get in on that. The book I just finished was either yesterday or the day before, whichever day it was, where I read 4 books in a day. Ego is the Enemy. I've been meaning to read this book forever, and so I finally got to sit down and read it. I think that was yesterday. Or was that the day before yesterday? I can't remember. No, that was day before yesterday. I read 4 books. I didn't finish the 4th one. But I got through the Ego is the Enemy, and then the precursor to this book is what's it called? It's called the precursor to this book is called The Obstacle is the Way. So definitely check that out. That's something that you want. Infinite Roleplay says, awesome dad. Hey, thanks, man. Said this message is held for review. Why? What did he say? Adam says, now you really flexing on your book game. Humble bragging ass. Yeah, well, you know. There was nothing humble about what I was saying. I'm just telling you I'm about to get serious. North Carolina is beautiful, man. Not too far from Virginia. Yeah, I've spent a good amount of time in North Carolina. I like it down there. Nanobot says, hey, Bryant, I know this is going to sound stupid, but I don't understand TikTok. Okay, that doesn't sound... What the... Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I just freaking broke my stream. Let me fix it. It should be back on, though. This thing is ridiculous. Stand by, YouTube. I'm sorry. I know you can hear me, but I know the screen froze. There's nothing wrong with your YouTube. It is all my stupidity. Sorry about that. I'm messing with the wrong plugs, trying to get my stupid ass Apple phone to cooperate. And I unplugged the wrong thing, so my apologies. Good thing I chose this stream tonight and not the lesson I was going to be teaching. I would have just totally effed that up. That's not a stupid question at all. Not at all. If you can, be a little bit more specific with me and help me understand what it is that you don't understand. Right? What would you like to understand better about it? And let me help you out with that. Adam says, I feel the same way about my books. I don't have a home, so I end up giving mine out to people who I think could use them. It's hard to teach people lessons, but pointing them to a book is great. Yeah, especially when people ask you a question that has a really complex answer and they're expecting like a very, so how do you get married? Here, read this. This will answer it. D'Angelo Power says, the Daily Start, Ego is the Enemy. So it's the Daily Stoic. I'm sorry, I didn't hold that up long enough before I killed my YouTube stream. The Daily Stoic is the name of the book you want there. And what's up, TikTok? I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm just trying to fix my YouTube stream. April Ray says, anyone else's video frozen? Yep, everybody's frozen because yours truly effed up the hookups. So you guys are good. Your stream's not frozen. I'm a moron. It's pretty much how that rolls. iFlame says, what up, B? What's up, man? Can I upload long videos gaming, or is it just 20? It's 1 minute is the longest video that you can upload. You can upload a video as short as 9 seconds. All right, so if you want an example of how gaming works really well on TikTok, look up my buddy Crojack. You probably already know Crojack from YouTube because he's pretty big, man. He's a great dude too, really smart. Look at how he incorporates gaming in a way that a young TikTok audience would pay attention to. Right? Look up Crojack, and it will show you how gaming works. I think his videos are all about 10 to 15 seconds, but they're all just perfect for that younger gaming audience that most YouTubers are trying to reach. Definitely not the type of thing someone like me would watch regularly. I mean, I watch it because he's my friend. Honestly, I watch his videos to learn. Like, what can I learn from his gaming videos that I can apply to my psychology and life strategy and business strategy videos? Like, what are the principles that would work with any age group like that he's doing here? But if you want to know how to do gaming there, Krojak is the guy. Krojak. D'Angelo Power says, any books on marriage prep? Yes, the 7 principles for making marriage work. Dr. John Gottman, I think it's John. Where is that book on my shelf? Uh, yeah, John Gottman. It's a green book, green and white cover. It's must read for people that want to get married and want some research, scientific research into what makes relationships work, not horoscopes and what Myers Briggs type are you? I don't know if I can marry you because you're an ESTJ and I don't like them. Oh, you mean the 4 people in your life that you met with that personality type? You didn't like them that much? No. Okay, so you're going to just disregard millions of people, potentially? Silly stuff like that. Something that's actually backed up by research to where I don't remember what the margin of error was, but it was like, I think it was like 90% accuracy. He would put couples through these trials, this observable tests, where within 15 minutes of observing them, he could predict that whether or not they were going to stay married, and was right some ridiculously high amount of time because of tests that he was running. So he used those tests to figure out, okay, what were the couples doing when they were happy and doing well, and what were they doing when they failed, right? And then so he documents that in the book. And so you can start to work on your character, you start to develop your character to be not the person who's doing the wrong stuff in the book. And he explains how to do all that. Uh, Giangelo says just got engaged. Okay, great. So you're going to be getting married soon. I would recommend you and your husband to be read that book. 100% absolutely. I'd also recommend, not enough people do this. Some churches require it, which I think is genius. Um, but like to get married at their church, I mean. But go to a couples counselor and just find a good one that won't try to sleep with your fiance, because that does happen. Jesus. Like find a really good one and just get them to walk you through some of the things that you need to understand. And it'll help you get to know yourselves better too and prepare you for any potential pitfalls that you might run into. All right, sorry TikTok, I'm not trying to neglect you guys. Let me catch up here. First of all, thank you all for being here, being a part of what we're doing. 100K is dope, and it's all thanks to you wonderful, beautiful human beings. Jedi Master says, what game am I playing? I'm not playing any games right now. I'm just talking to y'all and talking to YouTube. So I commented on your offended post, and I would like to converse with you about it. Yeah, let's converse, man. I don't remember what my offended post is. Was that the one with the picture of Donald Trump? Uh, I make a lot of videos, so sometimes I'll have to ask you questions about what you're talking about. That's okay. We'll figure it out. Orange Bag Lady says, hey, bro, shout out for Northern Ireland. Yes, Ireland is actually one of the places on our list to consider living. Believe it or not. I've done some research. I've listened to some wealthy cats that live there, and I'm like, I could run in that circle. Yeah, and congrats on getting engaged, Angelo. That's awesome. Nanobot says LOL. All right. April Ray says blue collar billionaire. That's right. That is the plan for my autobiography. No BS. I want to become the billionaire that stayed in the trenches with the people. Now, obviously, if you're going to be a billionaire, you can't always be in the trenches in terms of business, but I want to be the billionaire that's the most connected with the human souls that helped him get there. Um, that's something that I'm really passionate about, because the being a billionaire is not about me. It's about if when I acquire that much resource, there's so much good I can do for a lot of people who need help. Have I ever been to Ireland? Not yet. I do want to go though. Cool. It's that kind of live. What up, Nick? Good to see you, brother. I'm in North Carolina. Get in here. It's on the list, man. It is on the list. What I can say with confidence is that regardless of where my wife ends up going to law school, we will not stay so if let's say she goes to law school in DC, right? We will not stay in the DC area any longer than her graduating from school. It's not sustainable for my personal happiness to stay in this area. Even though I live in a dope neighborhood, our county is where we live is it fights with some place out in California for it's always we or they are first and second and richest places in the world, and it's because so many like Robert Redford owns property out here. Michael Jordan used to, he owns a home out here. Tons of professional athletes all are in the mix. It's just a melting pot of very wealthy people that actually started moving out here as long ago as the 80s and 90s because the taxes here are so low. But if we end up staying in Virginia, it won't be in the DC area just because I want to get as far away as I can without getting into Klan country um, from the political Charlie Foxtrot. It's just not what I want to be around. It's not the right energy, man. Too much fear, too much ridiculousness. The Art Dolphin says, hi. What's up, Art Dolphin? Who's back on YouTube? Thank you again. Congrats on 100K. Bless you. I appreciate that. You guys, thanks to y'all for 100K, man. It means a lot to me, man. Retiring in a county with strong not for profit health care, says Nanobot. April Ray says, if you need a writer for your book, hit me up. Okay. I can always use a ghostwriter. I don't plan because I've written 3 books. Well, 2, because one of the 2 books is just a slightly different version of the first book I ever wrote. It's not a process I want to go through again. There was nothing, I mean, it was enjoyable from like a guy who was just grinding it out, but it wasn't fun. I don't enjoy writing. So I was writing out of necessity. I had to get this information out to people, and I needed to understand the process. See what else we got here. Fat Damon and the Orange Bag Lady are having a nice chat. That's good. Random Guy 240 says live twice in one day. Wow. So yeah, back to Nick. North Carolina is on the list. We'll see. Because my brother Tony, uh, business partner Tony, not Tony that usually comes on these streams, he thinks he's going to land in North Carolina. He already owns property down there near I think it's Outer Banks is where he owns his beach house, and his wife is not on board yet, but he believes that will eventually change. And so I'm like, we can't be more than a helicopter ride away from each other, man. We depend on each other for existence, and so we'll see what happens throughout that situation. Let's see, who else is in here from the old TikTok? Cole Jones is in the house. What up, G? Can you say happy birthday, Nikisha? Happy birthday, Nikisha. Happy birthday. We love you. And I hope I pronounced your name properly. Are we talking about relationship and cheating? I had to leave when you were talking. I was talking about a video that's coming out in the next couple of days that I shot on TikTok about relationships and cheating. It's a video about why people who are happy in their relationships still cheat. And it's kind of flying in the face of a lot of the conventional wisdom. By the way, guys, there's no conventional wisdom. Conventional wisdom is usually the scripture of mediocrity. Just remember that. Copyright Dan Pena. That's not my quote. That's his. But no, so we're not talking about cheating in general. Somebody said, hey, how are you? But TikTok did its favorite thing where it jumps down the screen. Don't worry, YouTube. I'm not ignoring y'all either. We're going to work this out. That was End of the World who said, how are you? What up? I love your YouTube channel. Thank you. Thank you so much, man. One of the things I'm really hoping to do here on TikTok is drive a number of you that follow me on TikTok to go to my YouTube page and subscribe to it. Not because I need subscribers, or you guys know, anyone who's been around me long enough knows I really don't care about the numbers. I care about the people. But the reason why I want you to subscribe to YouTube is the content that we're putting there is super fleshed out versions of the very short videos that I have on TikTok that I can't I can only condense a 2 hour podcast into a so much and distill it to get to a 1 minute video. And I experimented early on TikTok with the serialized content where part one, part seven, part 19, and just like any serialized content on the internet, the first video does okay, and then the rest of them, people care less and less. So it's like to produce that type of content just gets to be more effort than it's worth. So on YouTube, I can just say it in one video, take up that much of your time, and just keep it moving. So I really encourage all of you to follow me on YouTube as well. I'd love to get my YouTube up to 100,000 followers too. And the reason why I want to do it is kind of a personal chip on my shoulder because I was on pace to get to 100,000 subscribers fairly easily twice. And I walked away from it both times because I didn't like the writing on the wall. I didn't like what I was going to have to do to keep those numbers up. So I consciously, I met with my team. We'd have several conversations. In fact, Tony from TikTok would tell me all the time, "You can't do this, man. You're gonna kill your channel." I was like, "Yeah, but it's the right thing." So I would love to just like in your face to and by the way, when I talk about these YouTube engineers that I've talked to, I love these cats, man. These are guys that I really enjoyed talking to, and the ones who I've spent time with in real life. These are great people. I'm not at all trying to give them a hard time. I just want to in your face to the me. I took a L uh, in terms of numbers because I chose to win by doing the right thing. I'd love to get the numbers just like an in your face to the machine, which wanted me to keep monkeying around in ways that weren't going to help people the way I wanted to help them. And it was like the content YouTube wanted me to make was going to keep people in a mental state that was not going to help them. And I swear I tried to figure out how to bridge the gap. And I just, on me, let's take YouTube out of the equation. Let me take responsibility. I wasn't smart enough to figure out how to bridge that gap. And I tried. I couldn't do it. So I would love to have all of you follow there because you're going to get hours of content, hundreds of hours of content, by the way. That's going to bless your life in ways that TikTok can bless you in bite-sized chunks, but you're going to get the whole meal on YouTube. So definitely do it if you're interested. If not, I'm going to love you anyway, so don't worry about it. TG8787 says, "You are a very knowledgeable man. Enjoy listening to your thoughts on things." Thank you. Thank you very much. Bless you. Dun, dun, dun. The witness, the cat attack is here. So I'm trying to thank all of you as you come in. It's Ann's World. Thank you so much. Sergeant 1345. Thank you. Spacing Tuna. Jeff Graham. Dr. No Carbs. Isaiah Copenhaver, man. Tandem 611. Skull Gaming. Blake Larson. Double Nani. Benny Silva. Mr. Invictus. Joey Kirkman. JC Wu. Born a Blizzy. Mr. Invictus again. School Scooter. Infinite Role Play. End of the World. Thank you all you guys for 100K people, man. It's a blessing. It's a true blessing. End of the World says, "I love your channel. Do you have a favorite Bible verse?" Yours is John 1:5. Do I have a favorite Bible verse? I have a lot of favorite Bible verses. Abraham nailed his ass to a tree and walked around the desert. That's a fun one. You got to read the Old English one for that, though, because it says donkey and everything else. But it's just like he nailed his ass to a tree and walked around the desert is how it's actually written in the King James. That's one of my favorite humorous scriptures. Do I have a favorite scripture? I mean, I have favorite scriptures for different situations, I would say. Um, Philippians 4:6 is straight power. But honest, like if I had to pick a scripture, it'd probably be Genesis 1. Don't ask me the verse because I don't remember. But it's, and then he commanded them to be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, and subdue it. And that was God's command to his people. Like, I'm giving you a commission to become like me on the earth and to become like me, period. Because at the end of the story, you imagine if we're made in his image and his likeness, at the end of these billions of years that we've, well, we specifically haven't existed maybe for billions of years, but as we become more conscious and more aware, kind of like 1 Corinthians 13 says, when you get past the love part, it says, right now we see in part like looking in a dim mirror, but then we'll see in full. And I look forward to the days when we see in full and we're actually able to have the creative force that God has over the universe. And I think we're heading there. I think science has been working really hard to get us there. Unfortunately, if you go back to the 1500s, the church tried so hard to dismantle science because you had a lot of cowards in these leadership positions. The same thing you see in the transition between the Old and New Testament when Jesus arrived on the scene, where the church leaders were bureaucratic cowards. This is why I don't like politicians, by the way. It's not just that they're politicians, it's that we've seen this movie before. The bureaucrats always try to suppress the people that bring true freedom. They murdered Jesus, right? The Catholic Church was trying to burn scientists and did burn scientists for witchcraft, which is freaking hilarious. They wanted to burn Copernicus. Thank God they didn't. Otherwise, we'd still be thinking that the sun revolves around the earth like idiots. And then so you see this rift begin between science and church. Because if you go back far enough in history, the church were the keepers and the financiers of science. But once science started to fly in the face of a lot of the things they were using to control the people, my words, it's, well, we got to take down this power structure that's going to... No, power is not why God put you here, you clowns. He put you here to become better, to become more like him. Right? If something else helps people be more like God, then so be it. It's like that scripture where the disciples run up to Jesus like, hey, Jesus, these dudes over here were casting out demons in your name, and we stopped them because they're from New Jersey. And Jesus is like, who cares where they're from? Like, I want to say Jesus Christ, but in my little skits, like, what did Jesus say? Like, Moses of Egypt. Like, that's what Jesus said. Moses of Egypt. You guys are idiots. You know what I mean? Like, how long? That's my favorite scripture. How long must I endure this faithless generation? That's probably my favorite scripture. And it's a quote from Jesus, and I'm paraphrasing and probably butchering the exact words, but it's when Jesus is at the point of frustration. He's just like, how long am I going to have to endure you faithless children like Moses of Egypt? Oh, that's my favorite scripture. All right, what do we got? Canada here, Texas gang. Talk about Agenda 21. I don't know about Agenda 21, so I can't talk about it. Fat Damon says, have taxes been going up in that area? Nope. Sergeant 1345 says, what's shaking love? Oh, what's shaking? Love your motivation. Hey, thanks whoever just sent TikTok love. I didn't see what it was and see who you were. I'll get to it as I go down the comments and give you a proper thank you, though. Have you ever been threatened by TikTok? Oh, all the time. Yeah. Yep. I've been banned once and warned 3 times. Yeah. Of course. Of course I have. Because I'm an adult. Let's see. Retire in the country. If you need a writer. Adam Bell says $1 billion+ is too much for one person. One mind to be able to use to help people as effectively as that much money in the hands of more people. No, I disagree with that. $1 billion in a person who doesn't have the character to maintain it and use it properly, I would agree. Just simply giving that money into the hands of, you would be better off if a person had $1 billion to create programs and to help people grow into having more money. Because most people think the problem is I need to get more money to solve problems. No, you don't have more money because you have not developed the character to deserve more money. Right? And that's a serious problem because Americans have been taught their whole lives, bastardized versions of scripture. Love is the root of all evil, or money is the root of all evil. First of all, no, it's not. Secondly, that's not what the scripture says. And I know you're not quoting scripture, but no. $1 billion in the hand of one person is totally worthwhile if that billionaire understands how to use money to help people. Most people, if I handed most of the people on this call right now $100 million, you would probably be broke in 10 years because you wouldn't know how to manage that. Like having managed a company, $100 million company that was making 10 million in profit every year, I could tell you that's a lot of effing money, and it's hard to deal with it properly when you've got it's if you just handed somebody more resources, it's and I don't believe in scarcity, right? That's really the fall of mankind, is this false belief in scarcity that used to be true but isn't anymore. And it's, if I handed everybody right now 100 million bucks, it would kill you before it would help you. So no, I think people who know how to use money properly and have the right head and the right heart to genuinely help people. Because, for example, if I gave every homeless person that I want to help, because one of my goals, and I'll explain it practically so it makes sense. I have a goal. Part of wanting to be a billionaire is building programs that will legitimately remove homelessness. But there's a catch. A lot of the reason why homelessness is so rampant is not a money problem. Right? It's not just, you can't just fix it with money. If I went to every homeless person that I've worked and have who have helped me in my $100 million business, because a lot of them used to be my informants for my security officers, my security, organization that did the security for our operation. If I went and handed all of them $1 million, it would not make their life better. Because the problem, one of the biggest problems with homelessness isn't just a resource problem, it's a mind problem. A lot of these people need serious and severe and intense psychological care, and that costs a lot of money, and that takes a visionary with access to resource to actually build those programs. Because I used to sit in the room with the idiot millionaires who would be like, get these homeless people off my business steps. I had a dude literally threaten the cops, because I used to be one of the co-chairs of the Capitol Hill Security Council, right? So trying to protect this entire region of humans, to include the politicians, was part of my job. And I actually had an idiot millionaire business owner, just entitled bitch of a human, man, by the way. I'm not calling him a bitch for gender reasons. He literally threatens the cops in the room with calling in a bomb threat if they don't help get the homeless people off his stoop. So it's, wealth oftentimes is a factor of character. And so just spreading the money around isn't going to help anybody if I don't also help people develop character. And that's a really big misconception that people have. And I think there's a lot of people with a lot of money, and there's a lot of people that you don't know that I can tell you about, who have billions of dollars. A lot of good is happening behind the scenes that nobody knows about, and nobody knows they're involved because they don't want people to know that they're involved. They just want to do the good, and their satisfaction is in the good, but like media and the news and all these bitch ass actors on television spin these stories of no person should have this much money. It's like, if you knew what a lot of these people were doing with that money, you might not say that. So anyway, something to think about. All right, sorry about this, guys. TikTok, I'm trying to catch up with you. um do I ever sleep? Yeah, I sleep 8 hours a day, man. Broken Suba says, sup, B? Congrats. What up, man? My man Josh says, came over from TikTok. Thanks, Josh. Hippie, what's up, G? Good to see you, man. Meraki Blueprint says, good night, Brian. Good night, Meraki. iFlame says, these names are fire. Hippie says, congrats on 100K, man. Thank you so much, brother. Jim Metz says, so grateful people still use their heads and trying to change people to help. Xander Maynard says, hey, man, thank you. I just found you, and you gave me a new way of looking at things. Bless you, man. I'm glad to hear it. Adam says, I agree. The power of the state corrupted the integrity of the Christian tradition. Always has, and not even the power of the state, the power of the church. Forget about the state. And I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree. The church leadership was effed up, not just the state. He said, money and character are mutually exclusive. I don't think I agree with that, but I also don't know what you mean. Let me keep reading. Money, isn't evil by itself. It's the love of money that is evil. You missed the point of my comment that much money is better off in many hands. I just disagree. Like that just give and that's what my homeless thing. I didn't misunderstand your point. I'm just disagreeing with you. If I just handed the money to homeless people, it would not make their lives better because they have bigger problems. So the money problem that they have is a byproduct of a much bigger problem, right? So just giving more people access to resource doesn't solve the fact that 98% of human beings are not working to develop their character. Meaning even if I gave them the money, and in the homeless people's case it's less sinister than that because a lot of times it's not their fault. A lot of these homeless folks have brain damage and huge psychosis from things that happen to them on the streets. Right, so if I just put the money in other people's hands, it wouldn't that socialist kind of way of doing it doesn't make it better for everybody. Especially if I'm putting the money in the hands of corrupt people or I'm putting money in the hands of people that don't know how to use it. Just fixing the resource problem doesn't solve the bigger issue that the reason why a lot of people have these money problems is that they're not developing the character, which includes getting the knowledge and the wisdom necessary to get money. Right? But if you handed $1 billion to a person that knew how to build a program to help all those people get access to their own resources, there's no reason why all of those people couldn't live at the level they want to and to be able to make it sustainable for themselves and not have to depend on someone who just gave them a payday. Right? So that I don't think I'm misunderstanding you. I just don't necessarily agree with your philosophy. Right? But I appreciate you sharing your perspective, brother. Nathaniel Mitchell says LOL. Tristan Joseph says good night, Brian. Good night, Tristan. Good to see you again, man. It's been too long. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at is just putting the money in the hands of like it's like I laugh at democracy kind of in a way because it's like we have an idiot king, so let's and he doesn't know how to rule. Yeah, so let's get all the idiots on ruling. And I'm not saying obviously democracy is a potentially a better form of government than a monarchy. But that's only because when people are working together collectively, it's better than having a tyrant. But if you had a philosopher king who actually knew how to properly deal with and help the people, it could potentially be better. It's very hard to find those types of unicorns, right? They kind of don't exist. But yeah, man, agree to disagree. Fair enough. I won't be yeah, no, I think it's a good conversation. For sure, welfare is a mistake. But see, I don't even think welfare is necessarily a mistake. I think there are people that do need a hand up. I'm just saying that need doesn't also say, well, there shouldn't be and I've heard the rhetoric about why there shouldn't be billionaires, and it's usually by 20 somethings with a lot of college debt who, if you had more wisdom, knowledge, and character, you wouldn't have gotten to that dumbass debt in the first place. And it's not all your fault because your parents told you to go to that dumbass school and study sociology as if that was going to mean, you see what I'm saying? I get the rhetoric of there should never be billionaires because we've seen a couple corrupt ones. But there's a lot of billionaires going around doing a lot of good stuff for a lot of people that wouldn't be happening if it weren't in the hands of those type of people. Let's see, what else? What is YouTube doing? Give me a break. And then you went on to say it's the whole give a fish, teaching the fish truth. But that money in the hands of experts, not just yours, is more effective. You aren't the expert on solving homelessness. Yeah, but I know a lot more about it. Yeah, you're correct. And what I can do, but you're kind of not disagreeing with me because I am not talking about hoarding $1 billion. I'm talking about going and busting my ass to develop $1 billion so I can take the money and deploy it to those types of experts. I'm not going to solve homelessness myself. What I've learned is from those experts. And you know what all those experts told me? Because I've sat in the seminars with them trying to solve the problem, is we need money. But we are not experts on how to get money. They're experts on how to deal with the homelessness problem and the medical problem, right? I'm not talking about making $1 billion and hoarding it at my house. That was the whole point I made in the first place. Anyway, let's get on to some other topics here, because this is a topic that we can easily start talking past each other instead of talking to each other. All right, what can you give us some advice on relationships? What do you want to know? Be more specific with your questions. You get better answers. What's up, my dude? Your talk hits me like them old DS did. Thank you. Oh, the old drill sergeant. Yeah, I can dig it, man. Cameron Medlock says, unless Genesis. Okay, I don't know what that means. Jason says, thou shalt fear no evil walking through the valley. Owen Scott says, the one you made about judgment hit me hard. Yeah, Adam, reading your last statement, you and I are saying the same things just in different ways, right? I think yes, you need billionaires so the person who knows how to go out and get money can fund getting the resources into the hands of the experts who can do good. But without the billionaire, my point is your experts are usually practitioners who aren't money experts. They're not business experts. They just know how to solve a very specific problem. So the Bruce Waynes, that's a bad example because Bruce Wayne is a sociopath, but the philanthropic billionaire who wants to do good can learn how to build the connections and build the business streams of income that can get to the billions of dollars. I am certainly not talking about sitting like Scrooge McDuck with a vault on my property full of billions of dollars of gold and swimming in it. That's ridiculous. um I'm talking more about using my expertise to get those resources together to help a lot of people. Here we go. Owen Scott says, the one you made about judgment hit me hard. Judgment. What did I say about judgment? I make a lot of videos, guys. I don't always remember the titles of them. So, what do you think about Circle Major? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Spivey, thank you for the rainbow puke. I knew I'd catch up eventually. Hey, from Australia. Right on. Hey, back, man. Appreciate the wisdom. Word up. Uh, Vindy Indy says TikTok is a Chinese owned app. They're monitoring everything. Yep, so are the American apps, especially Facebook. That might be the most malicious one out of all of them. Dustin Allen says 101st Airborne Air Assault. I see the patch. My man. Yes, sir. Good to see you, brother. I mean, it's hard to spend all that money in just 10 years. Some homelessness is mental health problems. A lot of it, if not all of it, is mental health problems. And the point there is that the mental health problems go way deeper than most people realize. Right? Like a lot of these guys living on the streets, they get into fights and then they incur brain damage, which exacerbates a lot of the other psychosis and issues that they have. Not the least of which are things like schizophrenia, which without some pretty serious treatment and or medication, that person ain't getting a job. So that's a challenge, man. Let's see. Killer Angel says it's an education problem. Definitely part of the deal. Oh, come on. Freaking TikTok. You know what? I'm going to stop blaming TikTok for this. I just need to read faster. I need to stop bitching about it because they're not going to change it. Da, 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 da. Digital Jedi says you can't serve two masters. Analytic Grid says, what is your MBI type? Bryant. It's Ian. It depends. It's either ENTJ or ENTP. I don't have much, but what you'll find here's what I'll tell you, man. Personality is um, personality is way more within our ability to influence it than most people realize, right? So I have always either scored ENTP or ENTJ on the Myers-Briggs test. But I'll tell you that if you look at everything but the E on my test, I don't have much preference. And that comes from being a very balanced person and studying how to improve myself and working on like character defects and flaws, some of which are just genetically wired, but you can overcome them with the right types of mental rigor and training. So people that subscribe to you're stuck with your type and that's what you are, read the cognitive functions. It's like not really, because I don't have a strong preference for J or P. Don't have a strong preference for F or T. Don't have a strong preference for intuition or sensing. Uh, Intuition and extroversion are probably my the biggest disparity. But on any given day, I could be a P or a J. Um, any given day, I could operate as an F just as much as a T. And I think what a lot of people have lost with Myers-Briggs is that this test that, and quite frankly, asks a lot of really dumb questions to help determine your personality type. Um, we try to use it as this kind of end all be all. Dylan says, "What's up, bro? What kind of video game people play Fortnite?" I don't know. I don't play Fortnite. I don't like it. I don't like battle royale games, so that might have something to do with it. Nathaniel Mitchell says, "I'm 35 years old. Why would I need to be on TikTok?" Well, your age, I'm not so much concerned about your age, but let me ask you this. Why are you on any of the social media platforms? So let's do it like this. Name the social media platforms you're on and let me know why you use them, and then I'll give you a case for why TikTok makes sense. That room looks like a dream, says Di Castro. Digital Jedi says, many people suffer from lack of knowledge. Yes. The little captain says, do you think if Bill Nye talked about coronavirus, humanity would be safe? I think humanity's safe, whether he does that or not. So I don't know is probably the only honest answer I can give to that question. What do I think about Kabbalism? I don't know much about it, so I don't have many thoughts on it. I try to be in the practice of not having opinions on things that I don't know much about, or don't. More importantly, I don't have any real experience with. You know, like a lot of my disdain for many of the politicians I've met, or because I've worked with them directly or indirectly, and I don't have respect for that type of leadership. I do have respect for what they have to become to be elected officials, because you know there's a lot of compromise that goes into that, and I think a lot of times compromise of values, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, I try not to have too many opinions about things I don't either know a lot about or don't have any experience with. So I don't know much of anything. I think Madonna is Kabbalah. That's about. I think that's the extent of my knowledge. Gotta go says, hey yo AD. Gotta go. Okay, hey yo AD. See you later, man. Kobe says, what's up, bro? What's up, man? Cameron says, I see. How do I become more comfortable with stress? It's a pretty good question. First is to recognize what stress is, right? It's a mental and emotional reaction to some outside stimuli. So being able to understand why something causes you stress and what does stress actually mean physiologically in the body. So for example, and there's different forms of stress, right? There's distress, there's eustress, which is the type of stress you get from lifting weights, which is actually good for you. But let's use social anxiety as a type of stress, just to kind of paint the picture for you. You've been told that you've got to get up in front of 30 people and give a presentation, and you're scared out of your mind, right? Like, oh my God, I'm nervous about this thing that I have to do. What's interesting about nervousness is that physiologically it's the same thing as excitement. So a lot of what we're experiencing as stress is how our brain is interpreting or filtering the outside stimuli, right? So when you get told that you have to get up in front of 30 people, one of the reasons why people are so terrified of public speaking, for example, is it's a survival instinct. You never usually want to do anything within your tribe that's going to cause you to be ostracized in a negative way. So you almost subconsciously associate speaking in front of people with some level of dying, because if you do something stupid in front of these people 20,000 years ago in your tribe and they throw you out of the tribe because you're a clown, you could probably die out there. So it's like the fear of death and the fear of public speaking are very similar, or similar. I don't know that they're very similar. You'd have to talk to a more well-read psychologist in that field who could tell you specifically. But my point is, dealing with stress is, first of all, understanding what the stress is trying to tell you, is my point, right? And understanding how to properly filter the outside stimuli. So, for example, let's use a eustress situation. When I go to the gym, I get stressed because my body is under physical duress. I have at times lifted weights to the point of having to stop because I was getting ready to vomit. I have taught my brain and my emotional center to associate that feeling with growth, muscle growth, and loss of body fat percentage. So I actually get my brain has been rewired to get happy when I feel that pain. Right, so part of it is just what's called operant conditioning, which is something the military is really great at. One of the reasons why the military is so good at teaching people to deal with stress is they induce it on you so much, but in the course of giving you the stress, they're also giving you the escape route. So it's understanding how to process stress, understanding what stress is trying to tell you emotionally and psychologically, and then just using that information to take the action that's necessary to properly deal with the situation. Right. Then practice being under stress. What I used to tell people, like if you've ever been in a place that does rehearsals for like an active shooter or something like that, I tell people the best way to prepare for an active shooter is to imagine it. Imagine that it's happening, and close your eyes and take yourself through what are the actions you're going to take if flight is the answer. What are the actions you're going to take if hide is the answer, right? What are the actions you're going to take if fight is the answer? And actually picture in your brain the person coming in and doing harm, and then you taking all three of those actions and do it over and over and over and over and over again and visualize it. Because then if a situation like that, heaven forbid, ever happened, you would go into autopilot mode, which is what soldiers do when we're put into a firefight. We have trained for that firefight so many times that we're on autopilot. It's, the neocortex is going to be out of the equation, so logic is gone. You're all lizard primitive brain, but you have conditioned your lizard primitive brain to react in a certain way that helps keep you alive. And that is a really generic answer for how you deal with stress. uh, let's see, Nathaniel. Oh, great, he's giving me the answers. Excellent. It says Facebook for family and friends. Got it. YouTube for learning. Nathaniel Mitchell says IG for entertainment. Nathaniel Mitchell also says Twitter for Trump tweets comedy. Okay, so TikTok is going to give you all of those latter three in spades, right? And it's going to give it to you in bite-sized. In fact, I find the entertainment on TikTok to be way better than Instagram. So in your case, your age really doesn't have much to do with it. I think a lot of people don't understand there are a lot of 30 and older people on TikTok. More people than the minute I started producing content on TikTok and looking at my stats and engaging with people, I noticed that I very easily started attracting 30 and over people to the content that I was making. Way easier than I ever could on YouTube. YouTube was always the 18 to 34 crowd. I desperately wanted the 35 to 50 crowd. I did not want to make content for the 18 to 34s. Not because I don't love people in the 18 to 34 category, but I'm talking about concepts and ideas that a lot of people don't start taking seriously until they get into their 30s, unfortunately. And then you usually pepper in a couple of young people who are just ahead of the game and who are hungry, right? YouTube, I couldn't pay them to get me in front of the older crowd. TikTok got me in front of those people immediately as a content producer. So you're going to find, and TikTok, so far better than every platform, is going to figure out what you actually like and start feeding you stuff that you actually like, right? And it gets really good at understanding what to show you, and it gives you the option to tell it, please don't show me this. I got teenage white girls dancing. I have rejected that so many times that those people don't even show up in my feed. And race doesn't matter. Like teenagers dancing, it's mostly teenage white ladies that are doing it. But I have not paid attention to the dancing teenagers. And I have told TikTok when it does pop up in my feed, don't show me this anymore. I'm not interested in the damn renegade or whatever else is going on with all this damn dancing. I don't like dancing. Like, I'm angry that the NFL has freaking choreographed dance moves. Like, just score a touchdown and go back to the sideline and run another play. I don't need to watch a choreographed ballet because you scored a touchdown. Stop it. Please bring masculinity back to this game. Why is this guy doing ballet in the back of the end zone? Someone's gonna fry me. Ballet could be masculine. Okay. So that's really what I would say to you is your age really doesn't have anything to do with it. I have had a way easier time on TikTok connecting with the 30 and over crowd and connecting with veterans, which was my greatest desire. What are my thoughts on COVID-19? I don't honestly, guys. I don't think about it that much. Wash your hands, be smart. That's what I think about it. Greetings, Bryant says, "Hey, what's up, Josh? Good to see you, man. Come to Christ sips tea. What's up, come to Christ? All right, let's get some more of these comments. By the way, everyone that's just joining us, thank you so much for 100K followers. You're all great human beings. Thanks for being a part of what I'm trying to do here on the internet, which is make the world just a little bit more capable of critical thought. Just a little bit. I'm not trying to save the world, just trying to keep it from sinking as fast as it is. All right. Thank you for serving the Air Force. I wasn't in the Air Force, but thank you for your thank you. Oh, what do you think about Bill Gates wanting to plant microchips through vaccination? That's been getting talked about for. That's not new. I mean, we were having that conversation when I was a computer scientist in college, and even before. And the people who were having the conversation were founding employees of IBM who were working at IBM in the 70s. My teachers, right? These old heads that left the corporate world to come teach. That's been a conversation way longer than Bill Gates has been around. That is not new at all. Do you know much about quantum entanglement? I know a little bit. I know a little bit. It's pretty cool stuff, man. Or at least the parts of it that I've read. Digital Jedi says, oh no, I read that one already. Analytic Grit says, I'm an INTJ woman and your perspective speaks to me. Thanks for sharing. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Nance Pants says, you would make a fantastic professor. Yes. That's why a I have a course called the Good Life Playbook. Thank you, by the way, for that compliment. And I have an online course called the Good Life Playbook, where I play the role as the professor who kicks everybody in the ass and helps them try to accomplish their dreams. Sean West, what's up? Analytic Grit says, I'm over 30 a lot. And I like TikTok. Yeah. You would be shocked at how many like 40, over 40 and 50-year-olds and even 60-year-olds who are like, dude, I don't do YouTube. I'm on TikTok all the time. I love your videos. Like, what? The old heads are on here too? What? Like boomer, or I mean, young people call everybody a boomer because that's a new thing young people say. But like actual baby boomers are on TikTok, killing it too. Like one of my friends on TikTok, military dude, is a baby boomer, killing it on TikTok. He's got a big audience, everything, man. He's getting after it. Cameron says, a beer for IHOP off. What do you think about foreign country rolling under a crown? I don't understand your questions, Cameron. I am going to make an assumption, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that English may not be your first language or that you are very young. If I'm wrong on either, I will happily stand corrected, but I don't understand your question, is the point of that. Buggy says, you're an inspiration, dude. Thanks, Buggy. Josh says, why does it seem that some intelligent people lack wisdom and so come up with bad ideas? Because a lot of intelligent people probably have been told they're really intelligent their whole life, so they've built up a level of entitlement based on their skills, or based on their genetic predisposition to be able to cognate. It's not a word, I'm using it anyway, at a much higher level than other people. I will tell you that really intelligent, simple minded people are the worst human beings to have to deal with. Entitled, highly intelligent, but simple minded. I would rather take a dude who's dumb as a box of rocks, but can think through how to properly solve a problem. 100 times out of 100, I would take that person into a dangerous situation before I'd take someone with the intelligence of Albert Einstein who couldn't even, read the instructions on how to make macaroni and cheese without asking a dumbass question. Right? And the problem too with entitled people like that, they're intelligent and they know it, so they think that means they know a lot. Doesn't. It's the worst. I love, like, I call people, dumb or whatever on the internet. I'm not talking about your intelligence. I'm talking about your ability to think critically. And there's a lot of people with way higher IQ than me who couldn't think their way out of a freaking plastic bag or trash bag, a wet paper bag. Cameron says second language. I got you, man. So, not trying to pick on you, just trying to let you know the way you're wording your questions don't exactly make sense to me. Some people have old souls and are maybe born with wisdom. I don't think anybody's born with wisdom, right? Because wisdom is you get knowledge, you apply knowledge to real world experience, right? And then knowledge, the knowledge adjusts to what the real world says. And then that real world experience combined with knowledge and then the adaptation of the human being equals wisdom. Nobody's born with that at all. It's like when people tell me they're a born leader. Like, there is no such thing. You may have been born genetically predisposed to have personality traits like extroversion or social boldness that make it easier for you to do the process of leading people, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be a good leader. Right? It just means that people are probably going to be drawn to you a little bit more than someone who lacks that ability. But once they realize that that person's actually a bumbling buffoon, they're not going to follow him for much longer. All right, what do we got? It's an experience to say the least. Thank you. Been trying to get better. Yeah, no worries, man. Trust me, your English is still better than a lot of people who speak English that leave me questions. So you're doing fine, man. Keep at it. I see. It would be nice for those individuals to have a balance of knowledge and wisdom. Agreed. Apollo Diomedes says, what branch were you in? Army. Xander says, what are your thoughts on how the world is handling COVID-19? I don't, guys, I really don't immerse myself in the goings on of like what's happening in the news and stuff like that. You know, I tend to focus, like global focuses I have are usually on vision type things, things that I'm working to accomplish. Paying attention to how the UK right now is handling a virus, it doesn't have any bearing on the things I'm trying to do in my life, so I'm not really paying it any mind. Like if I were going to the UK to give a seminar, I'd probably be a lot more read in on their policies and stuff like that. Nathaniel says, I appreciate you explaining that to me. I've only been seeing the stupid dance video. Yeah, trust me. At first, that's all you're going to see because TikTok wants to promote its most popular people to you in the hopes that you're going to make them more popular, thus helping more advertisers get attracted to the platform because they can say, look at all this retention we're getting off these people. But I get, like I had this lady breaking down is it etymology? I might have the word wrong of the Arctic versus the Antarctic, and I was glued like to the screen, like, oh man, I'm a moron. I never knew this. This is great. I thought the Arctic and the Antarctic was the same thing. Like, nope, you're an idiot. Like, I know I am. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. Right? There's a business guy that I follow that breaks down business trends hard on TikTok. I had never heard of that guy until TikTok. Right? I've had the blessing to meet, like actually engage with DM comedians that are on the up and up, like are on the upcoming swing of their career. and to encourage them and them to say cool stuff to me. And then, like, yo, when I'm on the West Coast, I'm coming to see you. Make sure you let me know. I'll hit you up so I know when you're doing a set. Like, I couldn't do that on Instagram or Facebook, or certainly not on YouTube, where I can have that. TikTok, better than any other platform I've ever dealt with, handles engagement like a master sensei. It's like they encourage it in a way that's so organic and so. When I did my first video for veterans, it did great for me. Like it was like 30,000 views, which for me is pretty big because my biggest video up to that point had 6 million views. Right, so getting 30,000 views for me and my son singing in an army cadence was huge. It was like, yo, people are paying attention to military stuff. This is wonderful, and I was psyched. And then I did the final inspection poem about the soldier that dies and goes to heaven, and like 1 million people have watched that, and veterans are connecting with me, and I'm connecting with veterans all over the world. It's like, yo, and not just in the States, like Canadian veterans, UK vets. Like, this is awesome, man. People are asking me to come on their shows. They're asking to be on my show. I'm like, none of this ever happened when I was on YouTube. Nobody wanted me. Like, actually, that's not true. One of my favorite people on earth wanted me on his YouTube show years ago, um, back when he was still punching his way up to the top. But he was a very rare occurrence for me to ever be reached out to by anybody. TikTok, it's like, yo, you can send a message to anybody and they'll legitimately, yo, appreciate that, homie. So, yeah, it's dope. Very dope. Which do I think is worse? External fear or internal fear is also known as anxiety. Give me an example of external fear. Queen Irish says the poem connected to me because my grandfather's a vet. Yeah. If By the way, I put that video on Instagram. Nobody gave two craps about it. Not that they wouldn't have, but Instagram's like, screw you. We're not showing this to anybody. Go screw off. TikTok immediately started, like, it knew this guy's talking about vet stuff. Send this to all the vets who could potentially watch it. Then 1 million views later on Instagram, that video did, I don't know, like 100 views. It's not even close, man. Buggy says, all right, man, I'm going to head out. Bet. Appreciate you, man. Don't forget to follow me. Don't forget to subscribe over on YouTube, man. A lot more dope content on the way. Kevin McGee says, having hard time. Want to do good. Can't injured. FF that wants to do more and can't. How can I? Well, be more specific, Kevin. And I realize that TikTok's going to limit the amount of words that you can write. So write it across multiple comments if you need to. But walk me through, what is it you're trying to do that you can't do? iFlame says, yeah, you lost your job. Yeah, see, that's no bueno. That's hard. Like, you lost it or you just temporarily shut down? Like, did they fire you over that? That sucks. And that's another thing, too. Like, if I'm being more sensitive to the question, it doesn't have any really direct effects over my life other than avoiding people. Right? Like, I don't have a job, so I'm not going to a place of business that's having issues with COVID, right? Um, the biggest issue I'm having is my son's friends coming over here banging on the door. I'm like, you ain't getting in. Mm-mm. Go on back to wherever you came from, bruh. My kids are on lockdown. Get up out of here. That's like the biggest, and when I'm out and walking around and working out, just trying to avoid people. That's literally the biggest impact. But I also have an elderly person that stays with me, so I'm very mindful of that. And I have a very elderly mom who is basically locked down in her house. She doesn't even want us to come over, which is right. Yeah, you shouldn't. Right. So I'm not in the arena of people who are getting, like, directly hurt by this thing. So that's why I don't really have much thoughts on it, because it's not having. I mean, certainly it's keeping me from going to the gym, but that's all, personal, first world problems. Like, I can't go to the gym. We'll do some push-ups. I'll be all right. right? But in terms of like, I don't have a job to go to, so I don't have like the fears of, oh, is this going to cause me to lose a job? Um, you know, the programs that I have set up online are virus proof, they're epidemic proof. So, fortunately, I don't really have those challenges. So it's hard when people ask me, "What are your thoughts?" I'm like, I don't really have any thoughts other than stay safe, and I hope that you're able to weather the storm. Kevin says, I'm a firefighter and injured, so I can't help random people for no reason beyond me wanting to. Okay. How do I work out? Now I've been doing a lot of body weight work. If you come on enough of my live streams, you'll see some of my workouts. I do plyometrics, which is hill sprints. Um, when my busted foot is not throbbing out of my shoes. Uh, I also take my kids out to do like football drills. Like my kids are signed up for a football league that's on hold, and I'm teaching them how to play quarterback, how to play receiver, how to be running back, and we'll run sprints together, and then we'll do plays and stuff. So that's pretty much how I'm getting my fitness in right now. So if you're an injured firefighter, so you can't help, I got you. So you want to do more, but you can't do physical stuff. Am I understanding that right? Cole Jones says, "How do I keep the negative out of my head? Replace it with the positive. Right? Replace the fear with love. Replace the dread with hope." Right? And I'm not saying that to be corny. For real. Uh, Start making a habit to think the right, resourceful thoughts that are going to get you where you want to go. That's a must for people that want to succeed, man. Got you, Kev. So yeah, if you're kind of down as a firefighter, think of ways. How can you serve your team that's still in the fight, right? Could you bring them food? Could you still go on shift and bring food that you cooked for them at home, like a home cooked meal when they're on a late night shift? Like, let's say you work the morning shift, right? And you got brothers and sisters that work the evening shift. Cook them a meal and take it to them, man. There's always ways to serve, even if you can't do it physically. There's always a way. Like this will sound dumb in comparison to the work that you do, but before GameStop being started being ridiculous with this virus stuff, well, they've always been ridiculous. But I've met friends that work at GameStops, and they've always been great to me. So it's hard for me to separate GameStop, the corporation, which does a lot of shady nonsense, from, well, these are my friends that are always good to me and help me get collector's items and sometimes just give me stuff, right? And I found out last year that my buddies at my local GameStop had to work on Thanksgiving night, which is BS. Like, come on, man. Who's up in here on Thanksgiving needing to buy games? Like, they can wait till tomorrow. And they had to work Christmas Eve, which everybody works Christmas Eve, but it's like, they really need to be here, guys. So what I ended up doing was on Thanksgiving and on Christmas Eve, I brought them dinner on Thanksgiving, as much as I could because my family destroyed the Thanksgiving dinner. But I brought all of them a plate, all the guys that were working. Like I was there the night or 2 nights before. Like, hey, who's going to be on duty around 9 o'clock or eight o'clock on Thanksgiving night? I'm going to stop through on my way home from my mom's house. And he's like, I'm going to be, us three will be here. I was like, bet, I'm bringing plates. So I brought them plates. Christmas, I had my wife make them. She has a recipe called chewy cake, which think of it like a think of it like a vanilla caramel brownie, right? That's the best way to describe what chewy cake is. And I didn't tell him what I was bringing. Actually, the manager in charge knew because he got some chewy cake at Thanksgiving. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to bring you guys, I'm going to have Miko make you guys your own personal servings of chewy cake for Christmas Eve. And so and so when I bring the food, the guys that are working didn't know, but my boy did, and he just starts smiling. He's like, "What is this?" And the manager's like, "Just eat it. That's all I'm gonna say is freaking eat it and shut your mouths." And so they start eating, and they're like, "Dude, what the hell is this? Delicious, man. Where did you get this?" Like my wife is she owned a bakery for a long time. She has all these dope recipes that she makes. Like and it's just that little gesture. Man, it's not like I saved the world, but it was these guys got to be at work. I hang out here with my kids. Man, I live up the street. I'm just gonna come hang out on Christmas Eve, and my kids loved it because they. I said everybody can buy a $5 stocking stuffer, so you can buy a game or whatever you want, a Pokemon card deck or whatever. And so they got to go. They were excited because let's go to GameStop and buy stuff on Christmas Eve, before we open our real gifts tomorrow. And the guys at GameStop who have to be at work have a friend that's coming up like, yo, here we go, bam. And it blessed me more than I think it probably blessed them to be able to serve. So there's always something you can do, and it may seem small. And here's where I want to encourage you: cooking your night shift dinner may seem small because you are used to running into burning houses and saving lives, but it can mean the world to somebody who sees that you're hurt and you can't be physical, but you thought enough of them to come in and give them something cool, right? That's a blessing that a lot of people. I mean, you'd be a hero in their eyes bringing them a home cooked meal when they got to sit up there and they're probably going to eat Taco Bell or something nasty anyway. All right, let's see. Cole Jones says, "Who is your master?" God, I guess. I don't. I guess that I'm presuming I know what you mean by master. Josh says, "I wonder if that was odd, but it looks like it killed whatever your previous statement was." Because I did. Josh, did you say something before? Wonder if that was odd. If you did, TikTok cut it. Uh, Kevin says, "I want to fight the tag nabbit TikTok. Want to fight the virus. You'd rather be covered in ice on New Year's again than sit on the side. Believe me, brother. I get how you feel about sitting on the sideline. Believe me. But there's something you can do to still feel like a part of the team. You just need to figure out whatever it is. Don't want to be a hero, just want to help. I get it. That's why you're a firefighter. That goes without saying, man. Let's see. Buster Friendly says, "What do you think of Trump?" I don't really spend much time thinking about Trump, to be honest with you. The only honest answer I can give you is I don't know the guy. I know people who have dealt with him directly, and in all of those camps, I know people that love him and people that don't really care for him that much. But I don't personally know him, and I don't really give him that much thought. Kevin McGee's. Oh, okay, I read that one already. User says, "Do you have workout routine or some advice you can give us on working out?" Sure. What are your goals? Let's start there. What are you trying to accomplish? Let me move the camera a little bit closer to me here. All right, let me take some YouTube comments too, because I've been neglecting my YouTube fam, which is probably why not a lot of people are left on this stream. Okay, so iFlames was laid off. Didn't know if I can get it back. Just a lot of unknown. Have you been able to apply for unemployment? Tristan says, "What good books can you recommend to learn about money and financial management?" So Ray Dalio's um, Principles by Ray Dalio, The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. This is a book I'm reading now. I don't know if that's interesting to you. It's called The Social Life of Money. Right? I haven't gotten very far into it. It was the fourth book I was working on the other day. Um, those are some pretty dope books to start thinking about money. April says, "If I just want to be someone's assistant, is that a bad thing? Like an administrative? No, why would that be a bad thing, April? What's wrong with that?" Adam Bell says, "Dude, I'm literally cooking for my night shift coworkers at the hospital right now." Hell yeah, do it, Adam. Love doing it for my peeps. Good, man. Good on you. iFlame says, "Damn, that sounds hella good." Uh, what got me interested in the military? My dad. He was a career military guy. Kevin McGee says, "Thanks for being human. It's appreciated." I try, man. I try. I appreciate you. Great question. That's a great question. That's a great discussion for everybody to hear, man. When you feel like you're on the sidelines, there's so much you can be doing to help. Uh, that may seem small because you're used to playing in the big games, but it can mean the world to other people. Tristan Joseph says, yes, I've read all of those books this month already. Okay, thanks, though. Excellent. Well, then you're on the right track, man. Have you read Advice for Managers by Warren Buffett? And have you read Poor Charlie's Almanac by Charles T. Munger? I'd read those too. All righty. Let's cool. All right. Well, I guess if nobody else has any other questions or comments, we can go ahead and say thank you to everybody. Get ready to move. Let me do a last call for questions, just in case somebody has a question you haven't asked yet. Otherwise, I'm gonna get ready to go to sleep. Try to go to bed early tonight so I don't have to sleep in tomorrow, so I can get up early, do my workout, and get my day rolling. Because I actually have some things I need to start getting done this weekend. Um, see the random James. Thanks for the love bang, man. Much love. Thank you so much. That random James says Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Okay, cool. That sounds like an interesting book. Tristan says, no, I haven't. Just downloaded them, so I'll get started reading them tonight. Thanks a lot. Yeah, no worries, man. Enjoy them. The random James says, read it! All right. I should add that one to my list. April Ray says, because it's not entrepreneurial or $1 million dream. But I mean, I guess the question I would ask you, April, is like, you want to be some, like, do you feel some obligation to be an entrepreneur? And do you have enough self-awareness to know if you really have entrepreneurial DNA? Because what most people have is either like technician DNA, like the people who are really good at executing things, or the next level up would be like a manager's DNA, and then entrepreneurial is very different. So, so for a lot of people that start businesses, especially people who I've coached, like solopreneurs who think they want to be entrepreneurs, but when you really break it down, all they want to do is escape doing what they do for their job so they can do it for themselves. So I'm like, what you really want is just to own a job. Like, you're not talking about owning a business, which is fine. That's what we call a freelancer, right? But it's knowing that. Do you have entrepreneurial DNA? Like, entrepreneurial DNA is when you try to convince your kids to cancel Halloween and you offer them, I'll just take you to the grocery store and buy all the candy you want so I don't have to waste time walking around the buildings, because that's time I could be focused on building this new thing that I have a vision for that can make millions of dollars or whatever. Right? So you got to know where your DNA really is to see if that's what you want. Random James says, I love all your content, brother. Thank you, man. What is your workout? Do you weight lift or body weight exercises? I do both. Well, right now I do a lot of body weight because my gym is closed. Queen Irish is going into a war zone tomorrow. So typically I lift weights and do plyometrics. During whatever this thing is that we're going through, I do body weight and football drills and plyometrics. Uh, Tim Spooby says, have a good night. Be good. Stay safe, amigo. You too, brother. Adam Bell says, congrats on 100K, my mans. If anyone I know on YouTube deserves the attention, it's you. Oh, bless you, man. It's great to hear. You're one of the few I'd even trust with a billion, to be honest. Thanks, man. That means a lot. Keep it going. See you at the 1 mil. Yeah, bless you, man. That'll be the next milestone is 1 mil. if I haven't completely left the internet by the time we get there. But yeah, man, I love you, brother. Stay strong. Thank you. iFlame says, yeah, they're so damn backed up with so many people trying to apply. I believe it, man. What was it like? I think like 3 million people applied for unemployment or something like that. Cool. All right. Since there are no more questions, I will bid all of you a fond adieu. You too. You guys are always in my heart, man. I love you guys. Stay strong. We are stronger than I. Never forget it. And I'll see the next YouTube we will do here is probably going to be the next iteration of my podcast. Maybe if I don't do something before that tomorrow night. I have another presentation that I put together that I might do tomorrow instead, but we'll see. But be on the lookout. We'll be doing my podcast for sure at some point. And in fact, our podcast is going to have our second guest hopefully next week. So be on the lookout for that. And if that does go down, just understand it's not going to happen on the normal Saturday, Sunday at night. It's probably going to happen during the day. So be prepared for those changes. April says, I'm big ideas, little execution, and I like helping people achieve their dreams and goals. Okay. Only thing I ever completed was my books and non-content material. Okay, cool. So you would benefit from when you're going through the Good Life Playbook, because I know you're in there. Uh, Definitely, I need to get you access to one of the private lessons that's not in that program where we talk about are you an entrepreneur, freelancer, or a laborer, and it's about having some self-awareness. So I'll figure out how to get that content to you so that you can go through that and figure out what you are so that you can make the best decisions that are going to suit what you're trying to do. Aloha Preston says, have a good one. Yeah, man, you too. User 582 says, love you, man. Thanks for the content. Love you too, brother. Stay strong. Queen Iris says, good night and take care, and hopefully I come out in one piece. You will. We're going to speak healing over you. We're going to pray that God's healing power is going to go with you and dwell inside you to keep you safe and to help the people that you're going to help. You're doing God's work. Keep it up. We're praying for you to stay strong and come out of that, not just in one piece, but come out of it healthy and whole. All right? And then who else is here? Take care. Carl. The Llama says, what's up, bro? What's up, Carl the Llama? Much love. Yeah. Cool. Hey, thanks for joining us on YouTube too, Carl. Bless you, man. All right, bet. It's always real, man. I'll catch you guys on YouTube next time. Love you. Peace. All right, TikTok.